Welcome aboard, everybody. Happy Friday. We're talking Syracuse basketball today. We're talking basketball. We used to play that on the radio all the time. Paul Esden Jr. along with the man-child today. Paul, good morning. How are you?
Well, I mean, the Syracuse basketball season has been something to itself, but,
a little down in the mouth, you're saying, huh?
Well, I mean, we should be a little bit more up in the mouth. I don't know if that terminology has ever been said in that way before, but, I think people should be more, try to be more up about it. That would be that'd be my advice to people, but easier said than done, I suppose.
All right. Well, you want to hear the best and the best analysis on it. You saw a YouTube link right there, youtube.com/@MC Show Digital. Become a subscriber right now. Click on the notifications so you know we're putting out stuff because you want to hear what's going on with this SU basketball team. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to hide under a table. All right. But we do it every week. We talk with this guy all about it. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Box Drop Syracuse. It's the one, the only Neil Adler from inside the Loud House. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Happy 4th birthday to your daughter, Paul. I hope she had a good one. Yeah.
Yes.
How's everybody doing? You guys got 3 feet of snow? Is that what I heard, Paul?
Oh, well, I don't know about Lurchmeister over there. Like he didn't, but I'm getting absolutely annihilated with snow right now. So we have over 2 feet of snow outside, and it may have gotten to 3 feet in between. So we got blasted. Just the quick story on it is just the front porch. So I have steps, 3 stone steps, boom, 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 from sidewalk to my house, and I shoveled it all off a night before. I'm like, "Whew, that's all done," because I wanted to stay on top of it. I go to bed. I wake up the next morning, and then there's just not only is there no steps, there's just snow. Like there's just 3 feet of snow on top of the steps. So I'm like, "What the?"
Where are the steps?
Where are the steps? So I had to dive into it to get to the street and then you're like, where do I put it? It's we've just snow. So I just got 8 feet of snow, and I can't reach the top shelf at my house, let alone
a little vertically challenged is what you're saying.
100%. So it's So long story short, it feels like I'm on a 4-game losing streak against snow.
Yeah, sure.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the 4-game losing streak. It's not good times now
it's not.
Around here, Neil. The pitchforks and the torches are at the door, so to speak, and even some chanting in the JMA.
Yeah,
it's not a good loss against NC State. I mean, it ended up being like 20 points, right? I think.
Yeah.
20-point loss. So
20 points. Yeah.
Give me your thoughts about where this is going, how it's going, and what it all means for the future of SU basketball.
Can't we just talk about Baskin Robbins ice cream or my son or your family or something happy?
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on, friends. Please subscribe to this wonderful show. Congrats on getting above 500. I'm sorry I didn't win the merch, but I'll try again next time. The thing with Syracuse is, it's a icky time all around. And if we're talking about the NC State game, most of the games this year when they've lost, they've been close, and it's like, did they give up in the second half? They just, I don't want to make unfounded accusations, but even Autry said in the post-game presser why he kept Sadiq White in with 4 fouls early. It's like, he said he was the only one trying. Like, what is that? I'm sorry. And you guys know I'm positive, I love my alma mater, but look, we're all human beings. So the players are frustrated. Autry's frustrated. The fan base is up in arms. I get all that, but you got to at least put up a fight. And so I'm hopeful, Saturday they play Notre Dame. There's going to be a lot of football recruits in the house for one of their junior days. They're going to honor Lawrence Moten, rest in peace, poetry, DMV in the house. I just hope they can put together a good performance and beat a Notre Dame team that's not very good. Then again, Syracuse isn't very good, but I'll tell you guys, I've always been a proponent of saying, look, if there's going to be a head coaching change, let's make it at the end of the season. But if they get embarrassed by Notre Dame at home and there's, chants throughout, how do you keep going with that? I'm rooting for Autry. I'm rooting for Griff. I'm rooting for all of them. But this is where we are. They're 12-9. They should be better than 12-9. And the buck stops with Autry. But it's on the players too. They get well compensated, and it's just not it's a dark spot, and it's really depressing. And I'm sure you guys see comments on your social media and your pods, and I know you had Brent Axe on earlier in the week, and there's a ton of comments. It's just a dark place, and I don't know what the solution is, because if you do make a change, like, and then fine, so Griff or Engelstedt, one of those guys is the interim, like, is that going to make the players feel better? They're all there because of Red. They're not there because, well, they're there because it's Syracuse too, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're playing for Red. So like, it's just like, it's a no-win situation.
So Neil, how do you split the difference, right? So Autry's like, man, he was the only one playing out there. So that is on the players for quitting on their coach, or the coach not motivating? Part of the job too of motivating to play at its fullest potential.
Exactly, Paul. And I wrote about it on Loud House, and some people commented and called me a dipstick, saying, oh, even if the players are kind of quitting, that's on. And yeah, the buck stops with the coach and the coaching staff. But, and I know some of these they're teenagers, but they're getting paid a ton of loot. I mean, I don't want to compare their job to mine, but like, if I'm having a bad day, should I just throw in the towel? Like, I know that's not an apples to apples comparison, but
I understand what you're saying.
They gotta fight till the end. And it just seems like, the body language is bad, and fine. If you're getting outplayed and the team is it's just falling apart, fine, but fight till the end. And, in one of the other recent games, and they all kind of blended together, they weren't even fouling towards the end to try and extend the game. Was that the Miami one? I can't remember. It's just, it's just like a bad look. But yeah, I do think ultimately it is on Autry to motivate his players, but he's also not the one out there. So like, there's got to be some shared accountability. No, I feel like, I don't know. I don't have any of the answers. It stinks. This stinks.
Neil Adler, our SU insider, all things hoops inside the Loud House, chatting with us today about the SU basketball team. I think one of the things that strikes me, Neil, maybe I'm just an old schooler for saying this, if you want to label me, is that there was this thing for years and years and years, and it's called Orange Pride. It was just this team had a moxie. There was a fear sometimes in the heart of the opponent when you were playing Syracuse. And now it just feels like we're kind of a laughing stock in some ways. I mean, and that, by the way, that's just not the Adrian Autry era. That goes back to the last few years of Jim Boeheim. Well, we just kind of became a mid-dweller, just a kind of okay team, with some good players, but we just didn't win enough, and we weren't going to tournaments. It's just, this has become a disease. I mean, you ever seen the scene, right, from the movie The Natural? Disease, just like syphilis, losing is a disease, like bubonic plague. It feels like bubonic plague around here in terms of why this team is just not coming out with the kind of fire that really was once Syracuse basketball. It's just very sad to see.
It is, Jim, and I feel like in some ways, like at least mentally, I'm probably older than you, even though physically maybe you got me by a few years. But look, even more recently, before they moved to the ACC in 13-14, look at from 2009 until that first year in the ACC. 2009, Sweet 16, 28-10, and this is, I'm going to show some impressive memory stuff right here. 2010. They were, I think, the best team in the country. They go 30-5. They lose to Butler in the Sweet 16. Onuaku got injured, blah, blah, blah.
We all remember that year.
2011, they're a 3 seed in the tournament. They were 27-8 overall. They lose in the second round to Marquette. There was that lame over and back call on Scoop Jardine, if my memory serves correct, that played a role in that. 2012, they go 30-1 in the regular season. 30-1. Dion Waiters, a lottery pick, comes off the bench. Yes, we have, rest in peace Fab Melo, but unfortunately the Fab Melo situation in the tournament, they get to the Elite Eight. They called like 8 million fouls on Syracuse against Ohio State in the Elite Eight, but they ended up 34-3. Then they go to the Final Four in 2013 as a 4 seed with that ridiculous defense. And then the first year in the ACC, they go 28-6. They started out 25-0. They lost to Dayton in the second round. They couldn't hit a 3, blah, blah, blah. My point is like, it wasn't that long ago that they were a dominant team that was contending for a top seed in the NCAA tournament, number 1 ranking, all that. But then they moved to the ACC. Different ball game.
Yes.
And, Hop and Boeheim and the Bernie, the sanctions and, guys leaving early, guys getting, it's just, besides a couple of nice tournament runs, they have been a mid-tier team, like you said, Jim. And I feel like, again, I can't see how Autry survives this year. And I'm saying this as someone that is a passionate SU alum, and I root for Autry and Griff because, I overlap with Griff at school. They need a fresh start. They need to cut away from the Boeheim family tree. No disrespect to Jim Boeheim. They need a fresh start. No GMAC, no Coach Hop, no disrespect, but this is a new era with rev share and the portal and everything else. They just need to start fresh.
And one of the things, just to jump on the ACC thing, because I agree, there just seems to be a connection here between
absolutely. I don't think it's a coincidence.
How good they've been.
Yep.
The weird thing too is that the ACC, which was always a great basketball conference,
hasn't been as good. Yeah,
it just hasn't. I mean, it looks like it's a little improved this year.
It is.
And they're going to get some more bids this year. So this
Absolutely.
year maybe it's not the perfect litmus test, but it was a dominant basketball conference when Syracuse jumped in the deep end of the pool. It is actually flattened out. And yet Syracuse has dwelled in the middle to the bottom, generally speaking, in most of the years they've been in the league. And obviously we know what they haven't done in the ACC tournament. I mean, they haven't won 2 games in the ACC tournament in any single tournament. And they've been lucky to win 1, for crying out loud. They've only won 5 times overall I think they're 5-10. I think I looked it up last week.
Something like that. Sounds about right. Yeah.
Not playing well in the postseason tournament in the league either. They just seem overwhelmed. It's amazing to me to see the Syracuse basketball team looking overwhelmed against teams like, in all due respect, NC State. Come on, guys. NC State.
Yeah, and to your point, you talk about the move to the ACC, and then you bring up context with other things and all, and fine. But Louisville moved to the ACC. They've had some good seasons. Who else? Pittsburgh hasn't been great. It's just been a lot of different factors that have played into that. And I still feel like Syracuse is a pretty well-known brand. And again, assuming there is going to be a new head coach, it's still a somewhat, I think it's a good job, but it's not what it once was. And again, you had one guy coaching the team for nearly 50 years. So it's a unique circumstance. And it's not like Duke went or North Carolina when Roy Williams and Coach K stepped down, and then you have Hubert Davis but those are blue blood schools. It's not the same. And it's not because Syracuse has bad weather or other nonsense factors like that. It's just not the same type of program that it once was, and they need a fresh start.
So Neil, give us the dating profile here. What's Syracuse seeking? Young, old, tall, dark, and handsome.
You're asking
what's
the wrong
going on
person,
here?
Dude. Unfortunately my marriage didn't work out, and I've been single and not ready to mingle for over a decade. But
look at your decor behind you. You have like this Amazon forest thing going on with all these various plants.
Yeah.
It seems like you sort of had the pulse of the current vibe of what's going on here in 2026.
I feel like there's certainly a lot of people in chat forums on social media talking about this, this coach or that coach, and they bring up the coach from St. Louis. They bring up Tony Skinn from George Mason. A lot of other names. People bring up Jay Wright. I think you need a head coach that has legit and sizable prior head coaching experience versus bringing in someone like Autry, who was a longtime assistant and associate head coach and could very well thrive in such a role. Again, it's not like he's a bad coach. Maybe this was just too much for his first head coach. I mean, this is a big job, especially, trying to replace Jim Boeheim. So someone that has significant experience at the Power 4 level, Power 5, or whatever it is these days, I guess, with the Big East. Or it could be at the mid-major level, like the guy at St. Louis. I mean, someone that obviously has good recruiting connections, to places like the DMV where I am and the Northeast Corridor in general, but also across the country, because it's not as much about high school recruiting now. I'm not saying high school recruiting is going away. It's more about the transfer portal. And, it'll be interesting. I assume that if there's a head coaching change, there will be the whole staff. Would it be a completely new staff? I don't know. Like Alex Klein, did a good job helping to build this roster, and he's an SU alum. Would he be asked to stay on? He's a former scout with the Knicks. So Like, are all of them going to be asked to leave just because they have, their former alum? Well, not all of them, but, Griff and Alex Klein. But, Engelstadt's a former head coach. Brendan Strawn is a tremendous recruiter with DMV ties. I just don't know how that all shake out. But you need someone that's a prior head coach. You can't have and it can't be someone from the Boeheim family. I personally think. Yeah. I personally think.
Man-Child Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Pop that subscribe button. Be part of our growing community. Today's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Box Drop Syracuse, the mattress and sofa outlet, where you can save 30 to 70%. That ain't so bad. Let's find out a little bit more about our friends from Box Drop, and then we're back. I got a really good question for Neil when we return.
Considering that we sleep nearly 1/3 of our lives, buying the right mattress is essential. At Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofa Outlet, you'll get a unique experience, one that saves you 30 to 70% off retail prices on top-of-the-line mattresses like Sapphire Sleep. At Box Drop, you'll schedule a mattress fitting appointment and get one-on-one service directly with Paul, the owner. No middleman. Family-owned, huge savings, no-pressure sales designed to save you time and money. And now Box Drop Syracuse has sectional sofas and love seats as well, with prices designed to fit your budget. Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofas. Set up your appointment today at boxdropsyracuse.com.
All right, we are back talking SU basketball with Neil Adler inside the Loud House, our SU insider. We do this every week with Neil. All right, Neil, it's bad news, and bad news. So talk a little bit about, the idea that there could be a change. Probably at the end of the season if it happens, but if things really go south, could it even happen sooner? One of the things that complicates matters a little bit is Syracuse University is going through a change at the chancellor level.
Yep.
And Severu, the longtime chancellor, is on his way to Michigan here shortly, and Syracuse is going to be in a transitional mode, and we've been through several of these chancellor changes. It usually takes several months. They go through interview processes, and there's all these approval levels before they finally name a new chancellor. If we're in the midst of a basketball coaching change, which we're never in the midst of here at Syracuse, for crying out loud, I mean, one in the last 50 plus years.
Yeah.
Who's making this decision, Neil? And does the person who makes the decision, let's just say it's John Wildhack, is he even around once the new chancellor is in? Let's talk about it all. I mean, it's fascinating soap opera drama up on the hill.
Yeah, and maybe we've touched on the past or even off air, but yeah, that's the thing. I don't, if I had inside info, I would tell you, but I don't know that John Wildhack is going to be here when there's a new chancellor. I'm not in any way suggesting he will or he won't. I'm just, it's a possibility.
Chancellor has a right to make changes, right? To have,
but I mean, if they're making a head coaching change, in the next month, well, the season ends if they get bounced in the ACC. I mean, I think it's like March 10th to the 14th or something like that is the ACC tournament. And then they've got to obviously move relatively quickly because the transfer portal will open the day after the national championship game. So I think it starts to be open on like April 7th, if memory serves correct. So
you don't want to not have a coach in place.
But to be real, guys, look, if John Wildhack is thinking about making a move, you don't think he's having discussions now with potential candidates and or their agents?
Yeah.
There's got to be discussions now. It's not like he's just going to be like, okay, we just lost in the first round of the ACC tournament. Now I'm going to start making some calls. No, come on. That's not going to happen. But I think he's the guy making I don't know how much. I mean, and Kent has been pretty vocal, in terms of athletics, not just at Syracuse, but wasn't he part of some type of?
It was part of a committee, national committee of some sort.
Yeah, some kind of committee, and talking about a super league and football and all. Correct. I feel like I've seen him quoted in articles and stuff like that.
Yes.
He certainly, like him or not, kind of is involved, so to speak, with collegiate athletics, maybe more so than other, presidents or chancellors elsewhere. But I don't know how much. I mean, he's not a lame duck chancellor, so to speak, because he got another gig. So kudos to him. Fine. But how much is he? Why would he be involved? He's not going to be here. It's John Wildhack and it's other people within SU athletics and it's boosters and donors or people involved with NIL or whatever. But yeah, John Wildhack's going to make that decision and then he might not be here. I hope, I don't know. Like, I don't think he's done an awful job. People are just so negative right now about everything. They're negative about John Wildhack. They're negative about, the basketball program. They're negative about football because they stunk this year, even though there was extenuating circumstances. And I think the future looks bright. They're negative about everything. The only thing that I think fans aren't negative about right now, if we're talking just kind of macro, is the women's hoops team, which is having a great season, and looking forward to lacrosse. And maybe I'm oversimplifying. Look, cross country's doing, there's other Olympic sports but in terms of the big ones, like there's just negativity everywhere. And I think Wildhack's done some good things, but it's going to be him. Who else would it be? I don't, when does coach, so Kent's done this year. He starts at Michigan in the fall. Am I getting that right?
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's not going to be involved in that.
Yeah. He's a lame duck chancellor. I mean, you don't want that person. I mean, as smart as he might be, you don't want that person.
Like, why would he even weigh in? Like, yeah, it's just
right. So who it is and all that kind of stuff. Wow. It's complicated stuff.
It's such a weird time. It's such a weird time. Who do y'all want? Who do y'all want? Like, again, and I hate even talking about this, but it's just, we got to, like, I can't ignore. Like, who would you want to be the next head coach?
I haven't gotten to the point where I have a name.
Yeah. I got a name.
But I do believe, as you said earlier, Neil, that they clearly need to go outside the tree, and they need to get somebody who has some national cachet.
Yeah.
And I think somebody who's going to do it differently, like really, really just completely differently. Like it's just a reboot, reset, fresh look.
And that's okay.
Got a name? Go ahead.
Yeah. Mike Krzyzewski. He's available. Let's go.
Okay, that sounds.
He's only 78. He's 78 years young. Come on.
I vote for Jay Billis. I vote for Jay Billis.
Jay Billis.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
loves Jay Billis.
That one.
Jay
Okay.
There's so many interesting things to say about college.
Nice.
Well, it's a bummer time, but it is what it is. And look, all I'll say is that I bleed orange no matter what, and we're calling it like we see it, and this is where we are. But I also try and be respectful. Look, Adrian Autry was a terrific former player. I think he was a great associate head coach. I think he's a tremendous recruiter. And assuming there's going to be a change, it hasn't worked out. But I love the guy, and I wish him well, because it's not like he wants this. He's not wishing this. He wants it. It is what it is. But we wish him well. Whatever.
Rick Pitino.
People have definitely they floated Rick Pitino. They floated Billy Donovan. Like Billy Donovan's gonna leave. Where is he coaching now? The Bulls. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Where is he? Yeah.
Gosh, Neil, we had our whole interview here and we didn't even talk about a single player. I guess we'll just have to save that for next week. That's where this conversation is currently with Syracuse basketball. I'm sorry that it's not more focused on what's going on the court, but rather primarily because of what's going on the court, what's happening off the court.
Yeah.
More of this discussion to continue. I hope it's more happy, or better happy, joy next time we meet next Friday. Neil Adler, as always, my friend, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. And friends, please subscribe to this wonderful show. Love you guys. See you soon.